I believe almost all of us would have had sleepless nights at some point of life and time. Did you had any sleepless nights?
Yes, we have a
Okay, great. So our Lord Krishna also had sleepless nights at one point of time. So I have a very interesting story to tell you about, and it was like I get to know about this story when I with my family traveled to Gujarat in the year 2024. It was December 2024 when we traveled to Gujarat, and we visited a couple of places over there. And while we were staying over there, we get to know about a place named as Jaamvanti Gufa. This place was around an hour from Porbandar, where we were staying. And after learning about this place, we booked a cab, a driver, and we went to that place. We went inside this Gufa, and when we went inside this Gufa, we get to learn that the dust of this Gufa or this cave was sparkling like gold. We were like amazed. Like, how come a big cave like this is filled with gold dust? We started having questions. Curiosity arose. We asked people, like, what is it? Like, people said, like, this is real gold. Like, oh, really? Is it like real gold? How come it could be real gold? People would take it from here. They said, like, you cannot take it from here. If you take it from here, you'd have to come back and put it back here. If you take even 1 gram of it, you'll have to come back and put it back here. But the questions were there. The curiosity kept on going. We asked some more people, like, what is the significance of this cave in the history? People told us that in this Gufa, Jambavan and Krishna had a fight. Like, Jambavan and Krishna had a fight? How come that is possible? Jambavan was a character of the time of Ramayana, and Krishna was at the time of Mahabharata. But we visited that Gufa, clicked some pictures, and then when we came out, it was late in the evening. People were going out from that place because it was deep inside the forest, and there was not too many tourist places around. It was so people were going out, and our car driver was also waiting outside of this campus. But we stayed back because there was curiosity. We found a temple inside that campus, and we went to that temple. We went to the temple and we started talking to the priest. When we started talking to the priest started telling us a story. Priest told us that while Krishna was the king of Dwarka, there was a Syamantaka Mani. This Syamantaka Mani has the capacity to build 77 kilograms of gold every day. Wow. Then what happened? So Krishna, there was a king named as Satyajit who found this money. When Krishna get to know about it, Krishna reached to Satyajit and said, like, please give this money to me. Because Krishna very recently shifted his whole Yaduvansh Dwarika, and for the welfare of the Dwarika, this money was required, and he said, like, it would be helpful for the people, for their welfare. So Krishna asked Satyajit, but Satyajit refused to give that money to Krishna. But after a couple of days, what happened? Satyajit's brother Prasanjit took that money as jewel in his neck and went for hunting. And during hunting, a lion killed Satyajit. And when the lion killed Satyajit, lion put the money in his mouth. And the lion came into this Gufa, which was called as Jaamvanti Gufa. But Jamvan, along with his daughter, was living in that cave, in that Gufa. When Jamvan saw that lion, he killed that lion, took that money, and gifted it to Jamvan. So we were absolute into this discussion. Me, my wife, my daughter, we were into the discussion. And meanwhile, the driver came in, said, "Sir, we have to leave." I said, "No, we are into something very important. Do not disturb us. Please continue." He said, "Okay, so what happened next?" So, lion killed that, Jaman killed that lion and took that money and gifted to Jamanti. But in Dwarka, the rumor spread. Because Krishna asked that money to Satyajit at some point of time, so the rumor started happening that Krishna has done the murder of Prasanjit and took the money. Here, for a couple of days, Krishna had sleepless nights. And when Krishna had sleepless nights, he was serving as a king during the day, but in the night he started looking for that money. And it was inevitable that Krishna would find that money. And one day Krishna reached to that cave and asked Jamvan to give that money back to him so that he can return it back to Kshatriji and clear the blame on him about the money. But Jamvan denied. Jamvan said, like, I have already gifted it to Jaamvanti, you have to fight with me. The fierce fight between Krishna and Jamvan continued for 28 days in that cave. And after 28 days, Jamvan realized it's not possible for an ordinary man to stay in front of me in a fight for 28 days. It must be some not ordinary person. And he asked, and it was inevitable. He could understand that it's the reincarnation of God, Lord Rama. So he offered, like, if you marry my daughter, Jaamvanti, you will blindfold this money. So Krishna married his daughter Jaamvanti over there, and his idol of Krishna along with Jaamvanti in the temple. Krishna as the ruler of Dwarika as Dwarikadhish, and Jaamvanti is his wife over there. And with this, Krishna came back, returned that money to Kshatriji. Kshatriji said, like, Kshatriji was so much ashamed that he started those rumors that Krishna murdered his brother Prasanjit and took that money. So in that case, Kshatriji said, like, why don't you please marry my daughter Satyabhama? So Krishna had another marriage over there with Satyabhama. So the story closed, and we were amazed, like, wow, what an amazing story. And then suddenly I realized it was like 9 p.m. So like, we must leave now. And then this priest offered a stick to us and said, like, you carry this stick. Stick, why? Why this stick? Because the wild animals come around this campus. So wild animals? What kind of wild animals? It's leopards, lions. I said, oh my God, wild animals, where I am now? So I stopped and said in my mind, "Sab sukh hai tumhari sarna, tum rakshak ka hoga darna." And suddenly, forest officers were outside of the gate. They escorted us to the vehicle. We went over there. The driver was waiting over there. I sit in the car, and while I was going back from the jungle, I was thinking in my mind. I was reflecting back and thinking. Like, even people spread rumors about the God, but ultimately it would prevail. So that's it. Thank you so much.